He would have a leather case for them.
That's Katie's computer.
Yeah, it's like a fake leather, faux leather.
Tolberts are just so...
They're interesting people, huh? Huh?
Not quite hipsters, but definitely...
Oh, they're hipsters.
Are they hipsters? You guys hipsters?
I'm not a goddamn hipster.
He's like a hipster with food. He came over with that, like, cheese board. There was
Hey, your uncles love that.
The honey... What was in it? Cayenne honey?
Cayenne honey, dog.
Ooh, cayenne honey.
Oh, what are
cheese?
you dipping there? Oh, just some of the cheese. Some of the soft cheese.
It's soft cheese.
It was a triple cream affinois, okay? And with a nice blueberry jam.
Was your mise en place good?
It was. It was perfect. It was brilliant.
Are we ready? Can we start? Welcome to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. We are hovered around this mic like it's a like it's a gangbang or something. This is a very what?
Wow, dude. You could just say like 3 bums around the fire.
Or like we're listening to a 1920s baseball game in the living room.
Oh man,
Yeah. Like it's
Mickey
a
Mantle, Babe Ruth really knocked that one out. So we are having we had some technical difficulties.
Aaron had some technical difficulties.
I broke the soundboard before I started the podcast today. So
Moments before.
Just when we thought we were getting back on the wagon,
And guess
Aaron
what?
had to go.
you know
do
I'm
this.
gonna have to edit you making noises, Cookie.
Sorry.
Yeah, put
Sorry.
that shit somewhere
Apologize.
else. So this week on $2 Steak, it is going to be all about extreme.
EC Dub! EC Dub!
All right. So, anyways, we have actually had a very fun and exciting week here in $2 Steak. We apologize first and foremost for the audio quality of this week. It's going to be a little bit, it's going to be
shitty.
It's going to be shitty.
It's
but
four boys.
Yes.
One mic.
There we go.
It's going to be just like old ECW. We wanted you to feel like you're a part of the ECW crowd. Mike,
Yeah.
your child had a one
birthday?
A one birthday.
He turned
Had
one,
one birthday,
correct,
dude.
yes.
Tell us a little bit about this party. I got a video probably about 7:15, and I think Mike said, "Fuck you, Winnie the Pooh." What was it? What?
So, something like that. Yeah, and then I did a keg stand.
And then he did a keg stand, and then Mike was radio silent for the rest of it.
slowly drifted off into
How long was said keg stand?
It's like 12.
It was a 12 count.
Okay.
It was solid. I mean, for 30, that's 30.
It was
Yeah.
a solid
respect
stand.
that.
It was a solid stand.
You know what? I actually looked at the picture and I reviewed my leg quality.
Yeah.
Not as vertical as Harley Race got going over the ropes.
Look
last
at
week,
you.
But
Very nice.
I'd say I was solid. It was good.
You were up there. I did not like how Mark was holding the back of your head, though.
Don't tell him.
It was a little confusing.
That was a little. I was like, Mark, what are you doing?
I think that may be where you messed up. You had Mark holding your legs. Mark is all of 5
no, he was
foot.
holding his face.
What?
Oh wait.
It was weird.
We're gonna have to review that video.
Yeah, I think we're
gonna have to review
keg
that video.
stand.
No, but the party went really well. We had a lot of people. It was hot as fuck, and I did get shit from my wife for doing the cake stand, and it wasn't outside because I wanted to do a cake stand. I was outside because there were 60 people inside
It was
opening
hot
gifts,
inside.
and I
Oh, it was hot as fuck.
hate like claustrophobic situations like that.
It was a little claustrophobic.
It was hot, it was muggy, but we had a great time. I barbecued some pork, and I was up at 5 yesterday morning.
Kiddo seemed like he had a good time.
Yeah, kid loves it. Playing with all his toys this morning, making lots and lots of noise. So.
So I had to leave early. I brought a whole plethora of people, and I did an Irish goodbye. I did say goodbye.
Did you?
I did say goodbye.
Okay.
I said goodbye to everybody. I said bye to Amanda. Did Amanda call me out on this too?
I don't. She didn't mention it.
Mike was getting ready to call me out. As soon as he walked in, I stopped it as soon as he walked in. He made the eye contact with me, and I said, Mike, I apologize. I had a lot going on yesterday. This is how adults do it. We apologize.
Talk about your problems.
We talk about our problems. First and foremost, we wanted to make sure that Mike understood that our brotherhood here, our $2 Steak brotherhood, is more important than, I don't even know where I was going.
Where are we going? You're going on a rant,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was trying to go on a rant. But yeah, I had to leave early. I had like 15 people I had at that party, and it was just way too many people. And it started raining, and we just had to go. And then Cookie showed up. Oh, wait, did you show up, Cookie?
Personally, I was in the doghouse, so I was.
Who's
going through
doghouse?
who do you think? My girlfriend's doghouse.
Okay.
I was
At
in
least
that
you still have a
doghouse.
girlfriend, so that's good.
Any man that's been in that situation knows that.
Yeah, I did a cake stand on my kid's first birthday party. I was in the
What kind of doghouse is that?
What kind of doghouse is that one?
Jesus Christ. So we're here. We're right. It's probably a couple minutes before SummerSlam is about to start.
SummerSlam starts in about 30 minutes.
So SummerSlam this year, TV 14. It's big news.
Excited.
Big news. Paul Heyman is at the helm of,
Yes, he is.
a lot of the writing here in WWE. So with that being said, let's talk about what started his ascension, if you will. ECW.
Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Well, first off, it was Eastern Championship Wrestling. There was a time when it was just a regular old Pennsylvania wrestling promotion. And then, so this is the point when Tolbert starts rolling his blunt. I'm sorry.
No, I've got cones. I've got cones tonight. Raw cones.
Did I
This
inspire
podcast
you?
is brought to you
Yes.
by Raw Cones.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I wish they were paying us and sending us product, but they're not. But maybe
They're
one
really
day.
like
Maybe
$3.
one day.
They're cheap.
Yeah, but they're great. You pack them and rip them,
There
boys.
we go. Pack and rip.
All right, so EC Dub. What do you guys have any early experiences with
Yes.
with ECW?
Yeah. So I didn't watch it a lot, but I always turned it over every once in a while. And you watch it when it was on. And the kids, I didn't watch it a lot. I was more of a WCW kid. But at school, it was always those hardcore dudes, man. It was
The Juggalos.
It was the Juggalos. It was the kids that were skipping class and smoking cigarettes. It was like I don't know. It just had this hardcore feel about it, and you're like, man, I don't know. This is different. It's hardcore. Everyone's yelling and screaming. Shit's just going crazy.
It had a cult-like following, and it's a cult classic in the wrestling community.
Yeah.
So, Mike, was this your first kind of? I know maybe we had a ECW match.
We've had a couple Cookie had an ECW match. What?
Did you?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah, but that was
one night stand.
just
Sorry.
make as much noise you can on the week that we have shitty fucking sound.
I dropped the lid on my grinder.
So that was actually the rekindling of ECW.
Yeah, the one night stand.
One night stand. You're right. So I remember like flipping through the channels on the weekends. I would stay up a little bit later. I remember flipping through the channels and catching. I think it was Raven against Tommy Dreamer.
Okay.
And they were just beating the shit out of each other, and there was blood, and I felt so dirty.
Yeah, it felt so. That's why I would peep it, but I wouldn't watch it. I was like, this is so different.
Is that how you
so,
felt
like,
watching porn too?
Yeah, but it was scrambled porn in those years.
I would rather be caught watching the Spice Channel after 10 p.m.
than ECW.
than ECW.
Wow. Wow. Personally, I like the hardcore name.
Oh,
I love it.
the Spice Channel or ECW?
Let's just say both, boys. Throw in a little Cinemax in there, too. Let's go for it.
That's Skinamax.
I apologize. I apologize, Cinemax or Skinemax.
So, what I remember just it being so different than what you were seeing on WCW, what you were seeing on WWE. And maybe at the time, a lot of those promotions, both of those promotions, kind of took their cues from it because they saw that there was a different kind of audience that was being...
an older audience.
It was an older audience, maybe audience that was willing to spend a little bit more money on the product.
Yeah, spend more money on front row seats, spend more money on merch, spend more money on getting there, and it was...
And a heavy influence on the hardcore divisions of both WWE and WCW. ECW, I think, was the reason why hardcore championships came into play.
Yeah, and it was. People like to see that car crash aspect. A lot of people see the rise of Mick Foley coming from the ashes of WCW.
Yep.
In ECW, he was able to kind of get his career back in line and get the eyes of Jim Ross or somebody that was basically scouting him out was able to see what he was doing in ECW, and it was so special. Some of the stuff he did with Terry Funk, some of the stuff that he did, some of the promos that he did were just phenomenal.
Those Cactus Jack years, man, they give you chills when you watch the matches, when you watch the promos. I mean, it's amazing.
Because they had that gritty feel to it. I mean, it was like that black...
It was rough,
like,
it was tough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we were, as we were talking, and this week in our group chat, I picked 3 matches this week that were as ECW as I could find it. Now I didn't use a New Jack
Sabu.
match. There was
No
Sabu was in.
What?
one.
We're jumping ahead of ourselves.
Oh, okay.
Sabu was in one.
He made an appearance.
But I did not have a Gangstas match. I'm sorry, I could not find a match with New Jack that was quick enough, or not quick enough, but good enough for our thing. What are you laughing at?
Just my face is right next to Tolbert's weed pile because we're all huddled around this damn table.
That is a big weed pile.
It's potent.
Some purple Kim dog right here.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
Purple Kindle.
Kim.
Oh,
Kim.
same thing.
Purple Kindle.
Same thing. Oh, that's why I was like, why the fuck is it called Purple Kindle?
So our very first matchup of the evening is for Big Mike the Greenhorn. Big Mike, you had maybe the most ECW match of the evening.
100%.
So when I think ECW,
I think about the Dudley Boyz.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the first name that pops into my head.
So
Dudley Boyz.
Big Mike has got the Dudley Boys against Spike Dudley and Balls Mahoney
balls.
in a Chicago street fight. Mike.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. You just said my name. Tell me a little bit about your match. Is what you normally say.
Tell me a little bit about your match.
All right. So it's Chicago street fight. What? July 5th, 1999.
I don't know what the date is, dude.
Falls count anywhere. We'll get back to that in a little bit. Initially, right off the bat, so this jumps right to the match. There's no promos or anything like that. They're just in the ring, and so I don't know what's going on. But I love the name Balls Mahoney. Like, I just started busting out laughing. Spike Dudley's dressed like Bubba and Devon.
So he's like their half brother.
Yeah,
It was some
There
stupid
was a storyline
storyline.
going on, and he's like the kick around half brother.
And there was also a Big Dick Dudley, and there was mini Dudley.
There was Sign Guy.
Sign Guy Dudley. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
All right, cool. And but Spike, he reminds me initially, and then real quick early on in the match of Marco Stunt.
Kinda.
Like just like tiny little guy running around. But match starts right off. The Dudley Boys just start jumping and brawling in the ring with the guys. Early on, there's a big spot where the Dudley Boys are outside, and Balls throws Spike onto the boys.
That was typical for Spike. He was.
That's right, and that's kind of where maybe he reminded me a little bit of Marco Stone, where he's just like this little.
He's
guy
like a javelin.
tossed around.
Yeah. Throw me.
So Bubba gets a really good slam on Spike in the center of the ring. What did they call that?
A Bubba slam.
A
Bubba Slam. Yeah, Bubba Slam.
Visually, I liked it. At that point, Bubba calls for a weapon, and someone tosses him a cheese grater.
A cheese grater.
Well, let's reflect on that a little. Yeah, it was an ECW thing for people that know who ECW were. It's a more hardcore production, so fans would actually bring weapons to the matches with them and hold them up in hopes that the wrestlers would use them.
So a cheese grater. Think about that. Like, sir, would you like a little bit more forehead on that salad? And like, they just start,
And then and he
scraping away.
Do you think it was a plant though? Like, do you think they went for?
I don't know. I mean, like it could be.
Because Bubba then like grates Spike's face, but he doesn't. He's not actually moving the cheese grater. He's just pushing it on her, but he cuts him.
Yeah,
They got enough to cut for sure.
Yeah. And then we get some back and forth. Spike gives Bubba a low blow. And then
here comes Katie. Hey, Katie.
Hey.
is that what you're gonna say?
That's all Katie's gonna say.
All right. At some point, Spike and Bubba get outside the ring, and Spike is grating Bubba's face.
Correct.
Yeah. So now they're both bleeding all over and starting to get a little gross. While all of that's going on, Devon and Balls are going back and forth in the ring. Balls pulls out a fork.
A fork.
Yep.
A fork gouges Devon's forehead. Now, boys, I will apologize. At this point, I lost sound of the match, so I don't know if it added anything to it. I was reviewing my match while sitting in my living room with all of my family.
This morning?
This afternoon, yes.
Oh, good.
And which is also why I wasn't able to watch the other one. So I don't know if anything.
Just watching ECW with the family
Just watch
on a Sunday morning.
On a Sunday morning.
I really loved Gorgeous George and who else did you love, Grandma? Balls Mahoney. He was my favorite. That Balls. I love Balls.
I really should have just put it on the TV. They do a crowd shot, and Spike and Bubba are in the crowd. There's blood everywhere. And
It's getting on fans.
He's rubbing his face in it. Who is it? Bubba gives the crowd the big fuck you finger, like middle fingers, and then they cut to commercial.
It was a commercial show.
Yeah.
They were selling advertising. Come on.
which is hilarious to me there. So they cut to commercial, and then you come back, and Spike's like on the second fucking story immediately. It's immediately, and then he just jumps down onto Bubba. And I'm just like, again, I don't have sound, so I'm just like, what the fuck just happened?
Dude,
it's a car crash.
He has like 5 seconds of hang time
too,
man. It wasn't just like a plop. He like...
And Spike was known for doing these stunts. Yeah. So like that's what he was.
And I could totally see it. And then, but did you guys catch the sign in the crowd that just said,
I'm not gay?
I did see that one. Because it was pretty prominent at one point. The I'm not gay sign was pretty prominent.
Was it? Yeah. Okay. I had no idea. I saw that and I was like, wait, what? And I had to like pause it just to double check.
In the early 90s, it was ECW, man.
It was 98.
Yeah.
It was 98,
so eventually we get them all back in the ring. We actually get some wrestling.
There was like one move.
We get some wrestling. Spike and Balls go for the double pin. Get a 2 count. A little bit more wrestling. Another set of 2 counts. A little more wrestling. Another set of 2 counts.
Nice spot.
And who's the guy? So I didn't have sound, so I don't know who this was. Guy runs into the ring.
That was Sign Guy. That was Sign Guy.
Balls.
There was Sign Guy and Joel Gertner, or the Gertner guy were outside the ring. The guy,
not the guy with this.
That was Gertner. Gertner was the guy with the weird stuff with his eyes.
This was the guy with like
Sign Guy was the guy that ran in.
Yeah, the ponytail. Anyway, he hits. I think he hits Balls with a good, or he hits Spike. I don't know. He runs in, hits somebody with a guitar. Dudley's getting a little more offense. They did a move that looked a little like a shatter machine.
It's a 3D.
No! Don't even
You just disrespect the 3D?
No, I don't know.
That's the 3D.
That's the 3D.
Again, I don't have sound. I don't get to hear them call it. I've never seen it before.
He is the Greenhorn.
It's the Dudley Death Drop.
Okay, yeah, it looked really good. I liked it. Yeah, that's the only way I could describe it. I wouldn't know how else to. Wow, fuck off, guys. That's my shtick.
You didn't even come to his 1-year-old's birthday party.
Yeah, okay, it's my shtick is I don't know what the fuck I'm watching.
And the table.
All right. And so Balls gets out a chair, gets both Dudleys.
Those chair shots.
And Devon has this like funky little Terry Funk cell. He's kind of like wobbling around. And I thought that was pretty funny. Balls then pulls out a table, thumbtacks onto the table, lighter fluid onto the table, and there's this great shot. So Balls is about to slam Bubba, and there's like this like creepy shot of Devon in the back lining up that chair shot. It was really good camera work actually. So he hits Balls with the chair. Then they put more lighter fluid on the table, light the table on fire, and then slam Balls through the table.
Yeah, it was a great spot.
It was awesome. Yeah, I wish I could. I will go back and watch it with sound just because I want to hear.
Well, you'll just hear Joey Styles like creaming all over it. Yeah, it's. Oh my God. So here's one thing. One thing. It's like. The camera work, I don't know. I think it might have been Cookie's match. It got me a little seasick. The camera work, where he's doing he's trying to like move it and make it stylistic, and I see it. And as a camera like operator, I've done it before. They did it too much. Yeah. Mike's match was very good. It was very like the camera work was great. And sometimes Joey Styles can take away from the match a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
is he the announcer?
He's the announcer. Yeah. I love him to death, and he knows all the names of the moves.
I love that. I love that personally.
I mean, it's kind of like when Michael Cole does like, "Oh, the Fiend!" Oh, it's like, dude, just shut up, let it happen.
Yeah,
like, you're pulling me out.
Yeah. All right. So, your final thoughts.
Final thought. It was I've seen a little bit of the Dudley Boyz already, and I like. Watching them, they're like that's probably why they're one of the better tag teams kind of in recent history. It was good. It was just enough blood, just enough action, a little bit of craziness. I actually would have liked a little more wrestling.
Yeah, me too. And that's a big complaint with ECW.
Yeah, so
even Joey said it. He said, "I think you saw like 2 or 3 wrestling moves.
Yeah.
This was a brawl."
Yeah, and it was.
However he says
it was this Chicago street fight better than the last Chicago street fight you had me watch.
What was the first one?
The one with Mick Foley and those guys.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Was amazing.
I liked that one. I thought that it was a.
Yeah, well, this is mine.
All right. Anyway, social media update.
Social media update. Tolbert and I both hit the ground running this week.
You guys both. Tolbert posted once. Twice.
3 times even.
A lady.
RVD with the nug.
Yeah, so we
Hilarious.
so but with all of his hard work, we lost a follower on Instagram. We're down to 68.
I'll find you. I will find you.
And but we actually got a shout out from whatever Wilmington and their story.
That was pretty cool.
We actually need to go pay them a visit, check out the new
so they
collection they got
if you're in town and you're local, they just got a bunch of old wrestling cards and action figures, and they shouted us out, which was pretty cool.
Those action figures are like that 1980s WWF line. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about some of the stuff. He was cleaning them up, and it looked good.
They're really well priced, man. In good shape, and cool store. Even if you're not into wrestling, go check out whatever Wilmington.
They did not pay for that spot.
No, we just like it. I bought a bunch of wrestling magazines from that store. I like that place.
They're good people. Twitter, 82 followers, so we're down to 1. I was driving here, and you always ask me, well, who was it? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm thinking about cross-referencing. And so that way, because that would be a good little spot just to shit on somebody for like 5 minutes.
Let's do it. Fuck yes. Next week, we're going to find out who stopped listening to our Twitter rants.
So,
fuck you.
I'm thinking
Fuck you.
Mike's going to have 2 sections now.
Fuck you.
Thinking about doing it. But we... much more active, at least early on in the week, on Twitter. Aaron got a shout out from NWALegends.com.
Yeah, that was pretty. They've got like 13,000 fans.
And then we got retweeted by Hacksaw Jim Dugan.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Big stuff there. I do want. Can I give a shout out to Waterline Brewing?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Yeah. So thanks Waterline Brewing for giving us a good keg. If you're looking for a good beer, go to Waterline Brewing. Mark hooked me up from the party.
Was that the keg that you did the stand on?
It's very sturdy. Yes, it will hold you up. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So they have good quality handmade kegs over at Waterline Brewing.
I tried to plug it in earlier, but I couldn't get around to it, so I'll just do it here. And best worst of the week. So we had 2 pretty decent tweets. Both of them were replies to wrestlers. The first one, MJF posted a picture of himself looking in a mirror with a comment. Anyway, I said, you look like you're questioning the structural integrity of that pillar. Because it looked like he was in the basement of a gym or something.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
And the pillar looked pretty fucking beat up.
Yeah.
1,000 impressions, 2 engagements. So we got a little views there. And the other one was shit-talking Shane McMahon, because I hate Shane McMahon at this point. He posted this really cheesy, like, shit talk to KO, like Kevin Owens, about
KO.
Their SummerSlam
Throwing
match.
up first initials.
Yeah, that's how we roll. And I literally, and I got there early, I said, you're kind of old and non-intimidating. And that got really 735 impressions, 7 engagements.
Yeah, you got during SmackDown on Tuesday, I noticed a lot of interaction. I was very proud of you.
We were doing good. Worst of the week, Aaron's poor attempt at a "This Isn't Wrestling" post.
What was it?
I don't even. Oh,
what was it?
The shrimp closing, bubblegum shrimp closing in Charleston.
Oh, I forgot. Was that through? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
It was terrible. Again, we had
Wrong account.
82 followers. Aaron got 43 impressions. The key on a "This Isn't Wrestling," you got to find a very like ESPN or the Premier League or something like that, and you got to be early in their they posted 50 seconds ago. That's when you say "This Isn't Wrestling" because that's how you're going to get the most views, Aaron. God damn it, get together, dude.
Man! Woo! Roto, this podcast is brought to you by Roto.
Yeah, so many sponsors.
All right, so for our second match of the evening, the strong style with Cookie. Cookie, you had, oh god damn, I can't even look at the fucking computer screen.
I had Yoshihiro
Tajiri against Super Crazy.
Yes.
Cookie, tell me about your match.
Raza Azteca, guilty as charged, 1999.
He doesn't do it when we have a real setup. Why would he do it like when we've got a fucked up setup like we do today?
Fun fact, this is the first time you see a Stairway to Heaven match televised. And
What's
I thought
a
it was
Stairway to Heaven match?
That was the match that had like the scaffold. Oh, I think it was just what they called it. They called it a Stairway to Heaven match.
I forgot about that.
But I heard Joey Styles say it, so I was like, I want to talk about that. Anyway, going forward, Super Crazy, one of the few luchadors to unmask and present himself at this event. So this is one of the first times that you see Super Crazy bringing that luchador aspect to ECW. And then Tajiri, this was his first his first pay-per-view appearance.
Yeah,
so
he looked very different.
He did. I think
it's because he's wearing trunks.
It's because he's wearing trunks and not those black leather like with the dragon and something on it.
And he didn't have the he was baby faced. He didn't have a beard.
He was only 28 at the time.
He was a badass 28.
Yeah, I know. But this match was a really cool. It's kind of short, 15 minutes, but starts with some chain pinning just to get in the feel of each other. You can tell it's going to be a quick paced match. And I made a note here. Joey Styles is one of my favorite commentators. He knew everything about a move, and he knew how to properly pronounce just about every single maneuver, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Unlike us.
Because you really don't. I mean, you don't get a lot of that, especially from Michael Cole, who just says plancha. That was a plancha over the top ropes. Like what? Anyway, Joey called it. This was going to be a fast-paced match, and Super Crazy got the early advantage with like a leaping DDT, but Tajiri, he did a lot of quick sales in this match. So like he would be down, kind of pop back up a little bit. And I don't know if this was a bad link or if it was just...
It was not a bad link. It was a fine link.
Hey, all I'm saying is that Tolbert said that match looked like it was in fast forward a little bit.
I said it too. It looked like they were a little fast.
But, I mean, maybe they were just fast
I think
at
they're
the
just
time.
moving fast.
I think
there's a lot of little things just kind of thrown in there real quick. Like little DDTs and shit.
Well, Tajiri quickly turns this whole match around because he shows how fast his feet are. And you can tell that he has some experience with the strong style being in Japan because he hit... Super Crazy with like 2 kicks to the chest, 1 to the back of the leg, and then kicked him in the back of his head.
Oh, dude, what about those knee kicks as well,
man?
Oh,
my God. That's the next thing I was going to get into. That was like the next thing he did right after that. He started going for drop kicks to Super Crazy's knee, and they looked nasty.
He did not pull them, man.
He didn't pull those at all. They were right on the knee, and Super Crazy goes down immediately. But they start trading chops, and Tajiri starts working on his knees, and after he starts working on his knees, he changes his style up and goes for like a leg lock, which I thought was pretty cool because this is very different from his WWF style. So I suggest everyone go back and watch this match because it shows a different aspect to his game, to Tajiri's game.
He's a lot more well-rounded of a wrestler than you're led to believe if you just watch his WWF stuff.
And for me, it was very refreshing to see Super Crazy, not in that that onesie that he was wearing when he was a part of the Mexicools.
Oh yeah, I know. I remember the Mexicools.
It was so fucking racist, but and then Tajiri did the typical Japanese stuff where he didn't know any English and he tried to play it off and stuff. It showed that you don't need a cheesy gimmick to have good wrestling,
and people loved it, man.
They loved it. They loved Tajiri. They loved him, but he hits his now famous, which is like a handspring elbow, which I thought was pretty cool. He has his handspring elbow, knocked Super Crazy outside of the ring. And then Tajiri follows it up with like a springboard moonsault that was out to the outside that was just gorgeous. Beautiful. Perfect. But he surprised me with like how much like versatility he had in the ring. He could bounce with the best of them. So he could fly with Super Crazy. He could be technical with probably William Regal. And he could just have a good match. But he gets Super Crazy on the apron and he kicks him in the back of the head. But then he botches his tarantula maneuver.
But it wasn't that bad of a
He did recover it pretty fast.
You were so quick to fucking
He's
pull.
always quick to call.
Yeah, you were so quick to call.
Botched.
I'd like to see your fat ass do it.
I could try it.
Imagine like me and Cookie tarantulaing each other.
Yeah.
That sounds really hot. Is that going to be on the Spice Channel?
The ropes would just be drooping all the way down.
The ring would be like when Brock slammed Big Show. The ring just couldn't take it anymore. It would be sad.
It'd be like when Calhoun got thrown out and broke the ropes.
oh God. Jesus. All right, now that the flame's over from them roasting my ass.
Oh,
Crazy.
We're also supposed to roast Davenport since he's not here.
Oh yeah,
he's in New York though. He's out of town.
So we can still roast him.
Be here, though. He told us he
but he said because he was so offended by how much we roasted him last week.
Oh yeah, about that face that he made, the Homer face.
The Homer face. No, Mr. Simpson, no.
Yeah, it was a light simmer. We didn't even begin to roast you, Davenport.
Oh, it's coming.
You hear us, Davenport? Now that you've got internet up there in New York,
I want you at SummerSlam, boy.
But you won't be because you're in New York. Like the lame ass you are.
Apparently. Crazy gets back into the ring. He does a springboard drop kick, which is beautiful again. But then Crazy does something which is pretty crazy, is what I called it. He goes full. Thanks, man. I don't know why I wanted to do that, but I wanted to do that. He runs full speed and does like a suicide plancha over the top rope, and that's when I realized that they don't have any mats down there.
No, not at all.
It's
no
cement.
mats.
It's just straight cement. He just hit the hard floor, running as fast as he can, and then of course, Joey Styles makes the reference and says, "There's no fancy mats down there. That's just all cement." I don't have a lead weight into my next part.
Oh my god!
I don't have a lead weight. I just don't. I'm sorry.
You don't have it in your diary that you wrote this week for your notes?
We just Mike's got the match pulled up right here.
Oh, did you just see that part?
Did that suicide dive.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And he lands pretty much back first.
back.
Yeah,
He's got like
back
3
first.
feet of air over the top.
But then he bounces back up and says, "This is for aesthetics," and does a moonsault off of a guardrail. So I mean,
Can I
it's
say
crazy.
one thing? WWF, like we always give shit to the ECW fans for being just like cavemen.
Yeah.
There was not one USA chant during the
Not
entire
one.
thing. There was
Not
no
one.
booing because they were Japanese or Mexican.
Yes, there was.
There was?
There was. I made a note about this. He says "Viva Mexico,"
Everyone
and then
boos.
everyone boos.
Oh, I take that
And
back.
everyone
Fuck you,
boos.
ECW fans.
And everyone boos.
Well, obviously he's kind of the heel in this, and I think it's not so much of a U.S.-Mexico relation. I think it's more of a heel-face kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So Crazy does this move that looks like a surfboard, where he like stretch. He basically stretch. Oh, you watching? It's
It's literally your comments.
hell yeah, that's what's up. So he does. Hell yeah, he does a surfboard and then turns it into like a reverse chin lock, and he is just completely stretching this guy out.
Yes, you're on.
But leading up to do the roll around. They're like rolling around.
They're rolling
in the
around.
surfboard.
Oh my god, just stretching every extremity out. But then eventually Tajiri drops him with a knee, and then he hits a beautiful plancha off of the top rope. So yeah, he gets onto the top rope and just spreads out, does a complete crossbody off, and it's just so fucking cool. And I could just see right then and there that ECW was a cult classic in wrestling, because you could hear people chanting ECW, and they meant it from like the bottom of their stomachs. I don't know. I could.
That's the
I don't
biggest
know.
compliment from this side.
From this side of $2 steak.
Are you kidding me? We're all four of us are like overweight. Come on.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
That is true.
we are all fat.
And we're about to cook a shitload of food.
Are we?
Yeah, we are, man.
All right, but then
Kenny, are you that hungover?
No, I'm not hungover. I've just been eating nonstop all weekend.
So you don't want the Poke Bowl?
SummerSlam, baby.
He made a Poke Bowl.
he made a Poke Bowl.
I made a
dog.
giant Poke Bowl.
It's gonna catch Pikachu in that
honor of
Poke
this
Bowl.
match.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess I'll eat it. I mean, it's fine.
All right. Sorry, start wrapping it up.
All right. My bad. All right. So Super Crazy does a move that I thought it looked like it was from a freaking video game. He does a slingshot torpedo, is what Joey Styles calls it, but it's an actual like a corkscrew over the top rope,
Right.
Which is so fucking cool. And then he follows it up with doing a tornado DDT on the Tajiri. Quick sells it, does a reverse or an inverted tornado DDT. Tajiri kicks out.
That inverted tornado DDT was brutal.
It
man.
was brutal.
Goddamn.
It was brutal. Landed
He
straight
woke
on
up
his
sore
neck.
after that.
Oh, 100, both of them did. I'm sure they did. Powerbomb attempt was counted into a DDT. Again, only seen in video games. Crazy goes for a corkscrew. Some kind of, I don't know. He goes off the top rope and does a spinning corkscrew. Completely misses it. I don't know what he was going for, to be honest with you. Sunset flip, 2 count. Hurricane Rana countered to a roll up, 2 count. Crazy hits a seated Tiger Bomb, 2 count. Tajiri hits his Tiger Bomb, then rolls him around the ring. Did you see that part? He does a power bomb, rolls him around, gets a 2 count.
These guys are so smooth.
They are.
Yeah.
They work very well together.
At one point, it seems like it's a little rushed to me, and they're like
Towards the
kind
end.
of lose track of what they're trying to do, but then they make up for it so quick.
Yeah.
And I think it's like this part where you're talking about.
And they
it's
pull-
like they're
and-
going back, forth.
Yeah, and they do a really good job of going back and forth.
Yeah.
And this is their first time being in the ring, so that's what I was really impressed with. But then Tajiri does a weird version of like an airplane swing almost. He kind of swings him around, turns it into a dragon suplex, pins him 1, 2, 3.
That was a great ending.
That dragon suplex was like perfect. Dropped
think
him
it was
on
just-
the dime.
Yeah, it was amazing. I think they just let's wear each other out till we can't move anymore.
Yeah.
Call the finish. That's it. You know.
And this was definitely a showcase of like two different styles from two different countries. You got the Mexican style, the Mexican luchador style, and then you also had the Japanese strong style. And Tajiri had experience with both of those styles, so I think that's why he was the aggressor, and I think he was the clear-cut winner from the beginning. I thought he was going to win it, and he did. And I'm going to give this match very refreshing with no gimmicks. Felt like a kid because I was taking away from it. I'm going to give it 5 cookies.
What?
Yeah.
It was
I
a
strongly
great
agree.
match. It was such a good
you
match.
are like, I don't know if you're
loved
giving
it.
out too many 5 cookies.
No, that was a solid match, I think.
All right.
I thought it was pretty cool.
I gave
You
him
gave me
shit.
the Hulk Hogan Stan Hansen match.
That was 0 cookies.
Yeah, 100%.
But what about if it was Hulk Hogan against Shawn Michaels? That would have been a 5 cookie match, right?
The oversell?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
definitely would have been a 5 cookie match.
To wrap that up, we now have the high spot.
Oh, the high spot. What a spot it is today. I'm going to keep this brief because
it's the
we have...
highest spot, I think.
I actually tweeted something along that line.
Yeah, probably the highest spot we've ever had.
Had.
Probably the highest I've been since we recorded ever.
Right now?
No, but leading up to it, man,
saw
all
the
day.
picture.
It's been a constant stream of.
Can you describe the photo you sent to
I thought about posting it on Instagram, but I don't know what kind of demographic we're going for, so I held back.
No, you totally could.
All right, I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it
Have
after.
you listened to our podcast? It's all about you getting high.
I'm gonna post it to the gram when we're done.
right.
I'm not gonna explain it.
There was a whole gram in that.
Yeah, so if you want to see what we're talking about, you got to check out our Instagram at $2 steak_2 spell it out. Put that underscore after
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Tolbert, you can't just explain the whole
Tolbert, the one time we have a mic that we all have to share, you want to fucking put your mouth on the mic.
Okay. Anyway,
But when you have a mic of your own, you don't want to put your fucking mouth in front of that.
He has no
whatever. Anyway,
He's too out of this shit, man.
whatever. So tonight's matchup is Mr. Rob Van Dam versus Bam Bigelow.
Beast from the East.
The Beast from the East. Whatever other Jersey nicknames he has. Mr. Monday Night.
He's from
Rob Van
Asbury
Dam.
Park, right?
And in one of his finishers.
Greetings from Asbury.
Yeah, I love that. It's so
That's a
great.
Bruce Springsteen album.
Oh, is it? I did
Bruce
not
Springsteen
know that.
It's so badass, all right? I grew up with Bam Bigelow in the early WWF years.
Can you describe Bam Bigelow to people who don't know who
He is a massive, almost Vader-like figure.
Have you ever seen Major Payne? He was the
Yes.
angry dad
Yes.
in Major Payne.
All right, all right. Everyone's seen Major Payne. Yes, he's the angry dad that shows up to the campus to
On the motorcycle,
to
right?
kick Major Payne's ass. Yeah, Bam Bigelow, but he always wore full body tight suit. Bless you, Mike. Black with flames, and Bam always had a shaved head. He had a skull tattoo, right? Flames going from like his hairline. And like his tattoo, like widow peaks a little as well.
It does.
So he has like
Yeah,
a
it looks
widow
like he has
peak
hair.
tattoo that goes all the way back. And as a kid in the WWF years, man, you're like, what the fuck?
That
man
man was
And,
terrifying.
Yeah,
He
he
was
absolutely
He also
terrifying.
had Luna Vachon as his.
Yes,
as his-
yeah. So Bam
she talked like this, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
just
Two
a,
misfits.
a massive figure, massive man. Just, I mean, power moves left and right. A lot like Vader. I like to compare him to Vader a lot, but amazing wrestler, great career.
he can move.
Yeah, he can really move for his size. And then Rob Van Dam, which I wasn't very familiar with growing up.
Because he wasn't a stoner yet. Once that first time he hit that blunt, it became RVD
I knew
Central.
him a little bit just from the late 90s ECW. I knew like my friends liked him a lot. I knew him from the singlets, the airbrush singlets and stuff like that, and the fists, with the thumbs, pointing to himself. Anyway, amazing wrestler. Actually,
Can I say one thing?
yeah.
My one Howard story of the evening. When I was growing up, Dad walked inside and saw RVD's like weird shaved head and said,
Shaved head.
He had the sides.
The
sides kind of shaved.
Yeah.
My dad, and this is a very hyper local joke that my dad would make. He said, "Man, he looks like he's from Leland." Back when Leland was like a bad place to be from. Now it's like a fancy place, but he would always be like, "That boy from Leland over there, is he wrestling?"
Oh, so we got Rob Van Dam, and he's a classically trained kickboxer, martial arts stud.
Is he related to Jean?
No relation.
They look alike.
He earned that name. I forget
Because they looked alike and they both could do splits.
And yes, and he actually there's pictures of Rob Van Dam doing the chair splits just like Jean-Claude does.
Jean-Claude.
First name basis.
In the gym, there's actually like this leg split machine. Like I was watching Sheamus's Celtic Warrior.
It's called hip adduction.
Yeah. Anyway, there's this, and you use it. You like crank it and stretch out your legs. Anyway, classically trained kickboxer, martial arts, hardcore guy. Got into professional wrestling. Sabu took him under his wing and started training him a little bit. And tried to like dial in those kickboxing moves and train him as a wrestler.
Well, they're both from Michigan.
Yeah, they are from
Fuck
Michigan.
Aren't you wearing a Michigan State shirt right now?
Bro, this is Slippery Rocks.
It looks like a Spartan shirt to me.
It's a Slippery Rock alum. Fuck Michigan.
Anyway, both from Michigan.
Fuck Michigan.
Both like.
Battle Creek, Michigan.
Fuck Michigan.
Can I get to the match here?
I just want to talk about my match.
I'm trying to get to SummerSlam here, man. Favorite pay-per-view of the year. Anyway, so we get the match. It's this is not a pay-per-view. It's like a Monday night match. I don't know.
It's not a Monday night. Whenever ECW aired,
But it was weird times, man. I feel like it was
Mr.
just,
Monday Night.
yeah. Why are they calling this Monday night?
Because he would go on Monday Night Raw. He wrestled on Monday Night Raw.
That's right. He did go on there a couple of times.
So
Anyway.
yeah, and it's like a television championship match because Bam Bam
It
is
is.
the
All
champion.
right. So it's a television championship match. Bam Bam is the champion. The whole storyline is that Van Dam is out there to soften him up for Sabu. That is next in line to kind of take the championship. Bam Bam comes out. He's got a patch over his left eye, and I guess he had a match against Sandman?
Yes, Sandman.
Sandman. And he clearly has a black puffy eye.
I
It was
honestly
a deep gash.
Well, they don't say that until later on in the match. I
But you
thought
can see it when
he
he
got
comes
like
out.
a new tattoo or something, like
Yeah.
Belcher. Right before a match. Like he got a tattoo right before the day before the seventh
the
tournament.
night before a match.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he comes out. Match starts pretty quick with Bam Bam just kind of pummeling the shit out of Rob Van Dam. That was his style. Power moves, punches, slams. When he powered bombed, man, he tried to put you through the fucking mat. Just insane. I don't know how you did not get concussions from his power bomb. So it starts off with Bam Bam just pummeling him. Out of nowhere, Van Dam throws that classic back heel kick, which I was watching a documentary about.
It's always on point.
I was watching a documentary about him talking about Sabu training him, and he was trying to dial in that back heel kick, and he actually broke Sabu's jaw the first time he tried to learn that move. And Sabu was like, well, we'll wait for my jaw to heal up, and we'll try it again later. Anyway, he finally dialed in some of those moves and used them in all of his matches. He'd do these big split kicks, do these split off the top turnbuckle, and flip around. And just amazing moves.
Split leg moonsaults, man.
Yeah, it's just
so cool.
insane moves. So just a lot of back and forth between the two, a lot of power moves, big kicks. It eventually goes to outside of the barrier, and they're in the crowd just beating the crap out of each other. At the time, did ECW even have a count-out rule?
No, they didn't.
So no count-out rule, even a basic
disqualifications.
match. They're in there just brawling. At one point, Rob Van Dam kind of Hurricane Rana's Bam Bam into the crowd.
Oh, it hit somebody. It hit somebody.
Yeah, he actually flips them into the people. They're loving it. They're chanting. They're going crazy. But in my mind, I'm like, that's a lawsuit just waiting to happen.
I think I'm not sure, but like they probably had some like legal
Release
thing where
waiver type thing.
If you're in the audience,
Yeah.
you're gonna be a part of the show.
So we have a little bit of outside the barricade action. Rob Van Dam. I'm just gonna call him Rob. Rob returns to the ring. I feel like we're boys, returns to the ring. Bam Bam struggles to get outside of the crowd, and Rob does. I would call it like almost like a coast to coast move. He jumps from the top rope, clears the barrier into the crowd, and takes out Bam Bam. I mean, this is probably like a 15-foot gap.
It was massive.
It was insane. Even the commentators are like, holy shit, I cannot believe he made that.
And then he did it again.
Yeah.
He did too.
Yeah, so he gets him down. It goes back to the ring. Fuck it. I'm going to do it again. This time I'm going to flip while I'm doing it. Right into him. Goes back out. Bam Bam's like struggling. He's a big guy. He's trying to get that leg over the barricade. As he's like throwing his leg over the barricade, here comes Van Dam again. Guillotine leg drop right on the back of his head. Flips him over. They finally get back to the ring. Just more kind of like pummeling and stuff like that. Some tables come into play. The first table that does come into play, Bam Bam tries to powerbomb Rob Van Dam through this table, and it does not even jiggle. It does not even move. He just takes the full impact from the back of his head and neck, right? Jesus. So to break this table, Bam Bam gets up on the curtain and just elbow drops him right through it, and that does the trick, right?
That hurts.
Yeah. But when I saw that impact, I just kind of shuddered. I was like, did Howard build that table?
Howard built that table, yes. Howard is a part of the original ECW.
So they finally take it back to the ring. Just more back and forth. Big moves from Van Dam. Power moves from Bigelow. It's getting heated. And out of nowhere, Sabu shows up. Just pops up in his how would you explain his dress? Genie tights?
Yeah.
His bright yellow, his headdress. Comes storming into the ring, kind of trying to distract Bigelow. There's a ref bump somewhere in there as well, so the ref's like holding his head.
God, that ref was down for like 30 minutes, it felt like.
Forever. It ends up with Van Dam doing like a flying kick through a chair and toppling Bigelow over Sabu because he's doing the on all fours kind of cranky play on your buddy. Yeah,
well, he like does the thing that you would do if you were a bully in high school, where you would have your friend like squat behind somebody and then you would like push them and then they'd trip.
Yeah, so he pulls that and then I guess it's like a kind of like a small package roll up type deal. He pulls on Bam Bam for the win. Crowd goes nuts, man. Crowd goes fucking wild.
He was
for this.
So popular at that time,
dude. Crowd popped so hard.
He was hot.
Everyone's going crazy. But then you kind of get like this little thing between him and Sabu, where Sabu's kind of grabbing for the belt, a little pissed off the way it was supposed to go. And the whole storyline he was supposed to soften him up. Sabu was next in line for the belt. Rob gets it though. I don't really know how it continues after this, though, between him and Sabu.
RVD keeps that belt forever.
For a year or something like that.
Can I just say, huge props to Tolbert. Did that entire review with no notes.
No notes,
Very
and it was
impressive.
basically...
That was on point. I was watching
on.
the video as it's going. I'm like, how the hell is he remembering?
I watched this match like 5 times.
All right, so
Such a good
to
match.
wrap it up so we can watch SummerSlam.
Hold on.
God.
We're about to watch something. I just want to give a shout out to Rob Van Dam. Since way
My
before
Lord and Savior, Rob
way
Van Dam.
before any state legalized marijuana. Before all that, he's such a hard worker, a dedicated guy to the craft. Everything he does, he's so in shape, so athletic, and he's stoned off his ass every single match.
know it, too.
He does not wrestle.
That man got busted as the WWE heavyweight champion of the world. The WWE champion, him and Sabu were driving around, driving dirty. And that motherfucker got arrested and got stripped of that belt because he got arrested with so much weed inside his vehicle.
But he didn't, when he was smoking all this weed, did not really drink. He had his little demons, you know, he had a little thing where he drank for a little while.
Did
but
he tell you this?
I've watched a lot. I've watched like 5 documentaries on Rob Van Dam.
Oh my god.
Anyway, he's just I don't know, man. He did a lot for cannabis culture and athletes.
Can I just say, you chose 3 great matches, man.
Thank you.
Iconic spots in just about every single one.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad. I was very happy with the match choice this week. I was just kind of disappointed that I fucked up my soundboard before we started recording.
This could have been so much better.
Well, to top it off, we have to have the HIGHKu. Do you have that?
Oh shit!
100%.
Oh, that's the only notes I do have.
All right,
Oh, man.
give it to me now. The HIGHKu
right.
for this week.
2? Oh.
I wrote 2 actually. Anyway.
He always gives us.
I write like 3 or 4, and then I pick out the best one as I'm going along.
All right, give us the best one.
How high is Van Dam? Did Howard build that table? Smoke herb, throwback heels.
All All right. Well, this.
I love the little doodle of RVD that you did as well.
RVD.
All right. So to wrap up this week's episode of $2 Steak, ECW was pretty fun, right, boys?
Oh,
It
yeah.
was fucking awesome.
Woo!
So we will hear from you. You will hear from us next week on $2 Steak.
Follow us on Twitter.